Hi, today we're building an orbital torch. First, let's create the laser with block display entities. I used a quartz block for the beam and light-stained glass for the bloom effect. To make the laser flicker, we can oscillate the width of the bloom entity. To produce flash burns, let's cast rays in all directions to check for collisions. If it hits a block, we will replace it with a burned counterpart using one or two transitionary block types. There aren't many burned blocks in the game, but with a bit of imagination, we can find substitutes. For example, we can represent charred logs with polished basalt, and burned leaves with mangrove roots. Some flimsier blocks such as foliage, we should occasionally replace with air. We can use a few more block displays for smoke. To make it easier to experiment, I added a feature to repair my testing environment. Next, we will create the explosion itself. Let's generate a ring of expanding block display entities. To make it look better, we could try applying a random rotation. Let's select a better block palette. I found a few block types that look like explosions. Here the clouds disappear abruptly as they exit our render distance. Fortunately, block display entities accept a custom transform. We can place all the entities near the player and offset them visually using a translation matrix. Now they are visible from any distance. Next, we should limit the explosion's reach. We can fade out the blocks by progressively replacing them with more transparent ones. All that's left to do now is to burn blocks contained within the clouds. We will reuse the mechanism from before. Now let's create the Shockwave. Just as before, we will create a ring of block display entities, this time with a grey palette and faster movement. Next, let's add a camera shake effect when the Shockwave reaches us. The camera movement will follow a sine wave that decays over time. Next, let's implement block damage. At every frame we will clear a spherical region of blocks around each entity, with the radius diminishing with distance from the epicenter. To make the crater more distinct from its surroundings, we can adjust the burn mechanism to favor darker and hotter blocks near the center of the explosion. Finally, let's add a chance for destroyed blocks to be ejected into the air. The core mechanisms are more or less complete. Now it just needs some finishing touches. First, we could add a few more delayed explosions to match the duration of the laser. Next, let's move the laser origin to make it seem as though the satellite is moving across the sky. We could also add some random movement to the laser tip, as though it is continually drifting and correcting its aim. It's a subtle effect, but it makes it look a lot more chaotic. Thirdly, we could light up the sky by giving players a few seconds of night vision. This effect is most noticeable at night. Finally, I noticed the laser would sometimes intersect with trees or terrain. To fix this, we could simply burn through the entire column of blocks. Here's the final result.